Hello, dieters. My name is Jenny. I'm coming to you with an update on my diet journey. I've been doing HCG here in 2021 to try to rectify all the sins of 2020 in terms of food intake, poor food choices, and weight gain. All right, so I am in P3 now. I did 2 rounds of HCG earlier in the year. This is now July. I think I started in May. I think I started in May. I actually started doing a round in March, right when COVID hit, and then aborted the whole thing. Um, so there might be some videos about that, but then that I don't think really much happened. Anyway, so I did a serious round and didn't do so well in P3 after round one. Gained 9 pounds back in a month. I think I lost about 17 or something like that in round one, and then I gained like 9 back. And then round two, lost that weight and a little bit more. So my net loss was 19.9 pounds for the 2 rounds. And as of right now, I'm 35 days into P3. And the good news is I am 2 pounds less than I was at the end of P2. However, the last 2 days wasn't so great. Okay, so 2 days ago, in terms of eating, I had my first fall carb. I think, did I have some other? I think other times in P3, especially at the beginning of P3, I wasn't doing well. And then I've been doing really well. I was at my mother's house. Well, two things happened in the same day 2 days ago. I returned to in-person women's group, which is every other Tuesday morning, and different people bring food. And all the choices were carb choices. And of course, they're like, eat something, eat something. And it's offensive to the person who brought the food if you don't have something. So I ended up choosing a piece of the breakfast casserole. But as I'm eating it, I could tell not only, because usually it's made with some sort of bready substance, but not only that, but I could taste the potatoes in it. And I don't typically make my breakfast casserole with potatoes, although let me tell you, it's so much better with potatoes. I should be making it with potatoes when I'm not doing HCG. So anyway, the good news is that day there was some level of self-control that was exerted in that I had only one piece and there was like a half a casserole left at the end. I could have very easily gone back for seconds or thirds and no one would have been the wiser and there still would have been plenty left over. I didn't. I also didn't have any of the muffins that were there. I didn't have any of the cupcakes that were there. I didn't have any of the banana bread that was there. And I didn't have any of the cherry strudel that was there. Yes, this is what was all presented for us to eat. So my choice was to eat one piece of the breakfast casserole. I didn't have any of the sugary drinks. I had brought my own drink with me. But then after that, later that day, I visited my mom and my dad for a short bit, dropped some stuff off for them, visited as I was leaving. She's like, don't go yet. Sit down, have some. She always made plum strudel. We have a German heritage, actually from Austria. And strudel is something that, or kuchen, it wasn't strudel, it was a kuchen. Again, another German word. And it was something that was like a comfort food that my mother always made growing up in these pie tins. And she's like, sit down, please try this. I made all these, and she made them with peaches. So it was peach kuchen, and have a piece of peach kuchen. And I'm like, oh, that's okay. Maybe I'll take it with me. Like I tried as much as I could. No. So I ate it. And then I had another piece. It was so good. And, it was kind of that philosophy of I fell off the wagon this morning anyway. The scale and my ketones are not going to be my friend tomorrow. Let's make my mom happy. Justification in my head. So that was a terrible day. That was a terrible day of eating. And then I just topped it off with a low carb, but well, I mean, how low carb can it be? It's not low carb. It was a smaller bag of popcorn, sea salt popcorn, microwave popcorn later that day. I mean, the overall net carbs was like half what it is on most other ones. I don't know where the carbs come from besides in the corn, but at any rate, apparently there's something else involved at times. Um, so yeah, an overall terrible day of eating, and I got on the scale the next day and it was plus zero point 0.8. Um, and then yesterday, I was gone all day. I drove 2 hours after my classes in the morning to go view a wedding venue, toured that, drove an hour halfway back home, met my college roommate who I haven't seen in about 30 years, and we sat down for 3 hours on a golf course and had a salad and visited and visited and visited. And it was lovely. I chose the unsweetened tea and I added artificial sweetener to it, and I chose the one salad that looked like it had no carbs in it. Although I don't know what was in the chipotle ranch dressing that came with it. But the chipotle ranch dressing was on the side. I asked for it on the side. I drizzled some on the top, and I left 3/4 of that container. It was a decent sized container, but I left 3/4 of it sitting, never added any more. And I ate the salad. It was tomatoes and, chopped up lettuce. And it did have, oh, here's where the carbs came in. The chicken was a grilled chicken, but it was with a barbecue flavoring. So there was some barbecue coating. There you go. That's where the carbs came in. Because the scale said, again, +8 today. Now, I think part of that is a little bit of water retention from the day before, as well as a day of sitting in my car for over 4 hours. Well, and then sitting at the restaurant for three, like just a lot of sedentary sitting. Although when you're on your feet a lot, then you retain water from that too. So go figure. I don't know. I don't know. But I can tell when I look at my feet that they're puffy. So there is some water retention going on. But I truly am sad about the plus zero point 0.8 because that's all I ate was that salad yesterday. And minus whatever coating was on the chicken. And it was very light. It wasn't like a heavy coating at all. It was just like a trace taste of bourbon barbecue sauce. Yeah. Yeah, it's not good, is it? But again, as you know, you go to one of these restaurants, it's not like they give you a plethora of chicken in there. It was mostly all the other veggies. And there was no corn. Um, it could have come with fried onions, deep fried onion rings on it. I said no, no to the deep fried onion rings. I almost, oh, no, 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 it wasn't I didn't get the bourbon. I take that back. I was going to order it. I was just thinking, I'm like, had have been very light because I don't even remember the taste of it. That's why I said it was very light. I barely remember the taste because I didn't have that salad. You're going to think I just make things up on this channel. No, it's just my brain. Um, I didn't get that in the end because that one came with tortilla strips in it too, and I thought I have to say no to the tortilla strips, and then I was curious about the barbecue sauce, so I chose the steak option, and the steak one had again, just veggies. So that was true. Like I can picture the salad in front of me right now, and it was all a bunch of little veggies chopped up very finely. It was delicious and lovely, and it came with the chipotle ranch. That was the recommended sauce that came with the steak, so I had just a little bit of that on it. And that's the one that had the fried onion rings. I said no, eliminate the fried onion rings, and I'll just have the veggies. And I was out and about all day. So I really thought, I mean, I didn't think I was going to be like, I lost zero point 0.8, although I would have been happy with it, but the plus zero point 0.8 was a little disappointing. Okay, so we'll see if in the next couple of days that just kind of bounces back and I can get my water retention back under control. One of the things I wanted to talk about today is net carbs because I did find on the shelf, I did buy these rye bread ish crackers that were keto friendly. They were very expensive. It was $10 for the box. It has like 5 pouches of them in there. I mean, that's crazy expensive. But I was just curious, and I thought when I really, really, really am craving a crunch, it'll keep me from going to the popcorn again, and it'll keep me from eating the tortilla chips or the potato chips or any of the other crunchy, lovely things, the plethora of different flavors of crackers we have here. Excuse me. It took a minute for that to come. Um, so that's in the pantry. And then in the meantime, while I was in the store and I was looking at some other keto options and I didn't get anything else, but I noticed, oh, right, some of these numbers weren't jiving. I'm like, because almost everything I've gotten, it's you have the number of carbs and then you have the number of fiber, you subtract the two, the difference is what the net carbs are. And then some weren't like that. I'm like, oh, that's right. There was something about alcohol that you could subtract too. I should look into that some more. And then it jarred my memory today when I pulled it up. I'm like, oh, yes, 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 yes. Let me go ahead and read quickly through this. This is very fast, and I'm sure a lot of us are familiar with what net carbs are, but I'll read through it. And maybe something will be like, oh, I like the way they worded that, or whatever. I don't know. It says net carbs refer to the amount of carbs a food contains after subtracting the fiber. It's generally accepted that the fiber in whole foods isn't digested and absorbed. However, not all experts on carb restricted diets agree to this point. Additionally, in people with type 1 diabetes, fiber may distend the stomach and trigger the release of hormones that rise blood sugar. So be careful if you're a type 1 diabetic. But you probably know that information already from your physician. Therefore, you can either subtract the fiber carbs in whole foods to get the net carbs or count total carbs depending on your personal preference and tolerance. And then this is obvious, but here's an example of how to calculate net carbs. If you have 100 grams of cauliflower that has 5 grams of carbs, 2 of which come from fiber, you take 5 grams of total carbs minus 2 grams of the fiber equals 3 total net carbs. On the other hand, many processed low-carb food display labels indicate their net carbs reflect the total carbs minus the fiber and the sweeteners known as sugar alcohols. Studies have shown that some of these additives can be partially absorbed and raise blood sugar levels. Therefore, the term net carbs on packaged foods may be misleading. All right. And that's pretty much where I was going to go with this too. I am not going to play the sugar alcohol game. Because if I play the sugar alcohol game, then I am going to, with these kind of things, which I don't know if there's any sugar alcohols in this one. Oh yeah, there is one. Yes. Total fat 12 grams, total carbs 12 grams, total fiber 9. I've been saying that this is one net carb this whole time. But it's really 3. Hold on. Total sugars, and total sugars are 1. Okay, sugar alcohol is 1, 12. Okay. And so I've been saying it's 3 net carbs. It's really 2 net carbs according to what the box would say on it. I still have these from sort of like my cheat when I'm on P2. If anything, they're more P3 friendly, but I'm trying not to eat these either. So that's why they still have one sitting around here from about 2 months ago. Yeah, so this box would have said 2 net carbs. I was counting it as 3 net carbs, and I will continue to do so. I'm not going to play the sugar alcohol game. Otherwise, I'm going to find things like that, like the Mounds bars, ones from Atkins, which taste so good. The chocolate thing with the, chocolate on top of the coconut cream tastes like a Mounds bar. Oh, I love those. Yeah, I could down a box of those and go, oh, I stayed under 30 carbs for the day because I didn't eat any other carbs. And I don't want to do that because it's not healthy. And it's not good for me. And as the article said, This is dietdoctor.com. Um, there's a little bit of controversy out there. I think it's fairly widely accepted by most people who talk about keto diets that yes, you can do the minus sugar alcohol to get the net carbs, but it's also widely accepted that we need to be staying away from those processed foods and we need to be eating more whole foods. So, today I'm very excited to say I got a bunch more of defrosted frozen chicken breasts, and they are ready to go into a crock pot. And I'm going to make another batch of buffalo chicken dip and monitor all those carbs again. But it does seem like the net carbs are really low, and the fat content is a good, healthy, high fat content that's in there. And I have some more peppers to eat that with. I also got some more lettuce leaves, and I have some ground turkey taco mix that I can eat on the lettuce leaves as well. All right. Um, and then what else do I have? I did get cheese. I mean, I've been trying to stay away from the shredded cheese because I know it's coated with something that could affect your ketones as well. I got 3 hunks of cheese so that I can shred it up on my own and make that a little healthier. As we talked about last time I did the video, there's no restrictions on cheese. Um, but you should be smart about not having a ton of shredded cheese. It's just shredded cheese is so much easier. Okay, so that's what I have for today. That's how you figure out your net carbs. Um, I'm curious to know if you subtract the sugar alcohols as well. And again, the sugar alcohol isn't going to show up in any whole foods. The sugar alcohols are something that they put into um, the processed foods. So if you're not eating any processed foods, then this isn't even something that is going to pertain to you. If you are eating the processed foods, then this is a way that different food manufacturers are trying to get you to buy their products when they typically sell something that is not a keto friendly item to make it keto friendly and still palatable. That being said, now I know there's only a difference of one. Some difference, some sugar alcohols are significantly higher. Um, doesn't taste that great, even when I'm on P2. It is kind of a treat because it has a little bit of a chocolatey flavor to it, but the consistency is like a really dry, bland brownie. Really dry, bland, and brownie's hard to say. I would say dry, bland, cake-ish kind of hint of chocolate bar. That's what it tastes like. Which, if you haven't had anything else, tastes amazing. Okay. All right, that's all I have for today. Good luck in your diet journey. Now you know how to figure out your net carbs, and you can decide for yourself if you're going to play the sugar alcohol game or not. And you can decide if you're going to do the net carb game or not. I mentioned in the other video that I was disappointed in myself because my net carbs were, or my carbs were in the 40s, and I was supposed to be keeping them below 30, and then I realized I was in the 20s, in the low 20s most days on my net carbs because I wasn't subtracting. I forgot to subtract all the fiber that was in the peppers and the vegetables that I was eating. So, but I kind of like that. I kind of like to just say, I'm just going to count carbs. One, it's just so much easier. And two, you will lose more if you don't play the net carb game at all and subtract fiber and just look at total carb count. Something to think about, something to ponder for yourself. All right, that's all for now. You take care. I'll see you probably tomorrow. Maybe, most likely, or definitely in the next couple of days. Take care.